What's up everyone and welcome to another episode where we're going to talk about Mac OS X DS store files and how Google had an issue falsely marking them as copyrighted files in Google Drive. But it's not the real story here. On the surface you might not think that this is some kind of cybersecurity issue, but it is, and you should know about it. Now, I hope you'll watch the full episode, but if not, you can now skip directly to my insights at the end of the episode, right from the timeline below. For the rest of you, let's go through the story together so we understand it and see what we can learn to protect ourselves and others.
Oh, drat these computers. They're so naughty and so complex. I could pinch them.
If you're an Apple user, you might have seen this mysterious DS store appear when you copy zip files and folders from your macOS device to another operating system like Windows or Linux. DS store files are automatically generated by the macOS Finder application to store custom attributes and metadata such as icon information and background information, or background image location. This information helps Finder render the layout as per the user's preferences. However, when uploading archives and folders to a third-party cloud service, such as Google Drive or Dropbox, the storage provider's file manager may regardless show the DS store or desktop.ini file from Windows and other such files, otherwise obscured on the user's personal computer. It isn't known yet what causes this behavior, and Bleeping Computer, who provided this story, has been unable to reproduce the issue at the time of writing. One plausible assumption was Google relies on checksums to keep track of copyrighted content, and a possible hash collision between copyrighted files and benign files sharing the same hash can trigger false violations. Congratulations, you're doing a great job by wanting to learn about Google's issue with DS store files and what it means for us in the security industry. I appreciate your support by watching my episode about it. Now, if you're new to my channel and have not already, please consider subscribing to my channel and smashing the bell to be notified when I upload new episodes where I give you insights into the newest important cybersecurity news stories like this one. With my insights, you can be better prepared to protect your company, your family, and yourself against these and other cyber attacks. So, hit the subscribe button now, and let's continue to learn about this story together. Now, the theory about, sharing the same hash would explain why many users would be able to reproduce the issue with files that contain just digits, as opposed to .ds store files. The latter could be quite unique for individuals producing specific hashes, and as such, hard to reproduce. But this theory has not been authoritatively confirmed. Bleeping Computer reached out to Google with specific questions to better understand the issue. A Google spokesperson explained that in January, the company discovered and addressed the aforementioned issue that impacted a small number of Drive files. This is still correct for all new files, but we're still updating some edge cases, a Google spokesperson told Bleeping Computer. Google Drive is constantly working to protect the security and safety of our users, and we take corporate protection very seriously. In December 2021, the company released a blog post explaining the new notifications that are sent to users when their Google Drive content violates policies. With these new notifications, the owner of the item in Google Drive will now receive an email notifying them of the action taken and why, and alerting them of how to request a review of the verdict if they think it is a mistake. Note, however, the erroneous Google Drive notification sent to users in January ended with a review cannot be requested for this restriction message. In 2018, Google published a detailed document explaining how the company fights piracy, but when specifically talking about Google Drive, the report states a full-time abuse engineering team was set up by Google for tackling illegal streams served on Google Drive. As such, not much information is available on how Google's algorithms process non-video content stored on Drive. So, what can we learn? What's the hubbub? What's the big deal about DSS store files? DS store files are files in the Apple OS X operating system. They store user settings for a folder, including list of files in that folder, the location of icons, and the selected background image. The name DS Store is short for Desktop Services Store. These files are created and maintained by the Finder application in each and every folder and have functions similar to the desktop.ini file in Microsoft Windows. Names that begin with a period, including the .ds_store file, are hidden in Finder and many Unix utilities. The internal structure of these files is, of course, proprietary. Now, .ds_store files are of interest because they contain a list of the files in that folder. These files can be used in forensic analysis of the local system. Also, these files can be found on a server, for example, if the folder was moved in a zip archive from Mac machines. Through the .dss-store files, the contents of the files do not leak, so they don't get the content of the files, they get the name of the files. There are numerous ways to open a DS-store file, one being using the Python program python-ds-store. Once you open it, you can see the list of the files for the specific directory where this DS-store file was created. Now, you could do a Google search for DS-store files and find tons of them on the internet. For example, there are Google Dorks you can use to find a bunch. However, the ones you find in, say, an open search are generally of no use. Hackers, on the other hand, are interested in ones that they find using software like Nikto. These are closed for viewing. So if a hacker finds this closed for viewing .dss-store file, they can see what files exist in that directory on, say, a web server. Again, there are known tools like ds_store_exp that downloads the DS-store file, it extracts the contents, it reconstructs the folder structure in a visual way that you can see, oh, this is folder XYZ, this is image, this is CSS, and so on and so forth. So it reconstructs that, and it even creates links for you to download the individual files from that directory. Now this can be used for reconnaissance, or to get any interesting files, or see the structure of the folder of that server. Or it can, if there are scripts in there, you can download the scripts in that folder, and sometimes there are even database backups listed in those files. A hacker would not even know about a database backup transferred with the source code if that DS-store file was not there. Now let's take a step back away from business and let's take a look at the individual case. Let's say you upload a file to Google Drive. Now in that upload is a DSS-store file, and that DSS-store file contains a file or a list of all the files in your folder, one with the name mycryptowallet.txt. Now Hacker123 comes along, finds that file, and knows that the owner of this account has a crypto wallet, so let's see how we can hack this person, or phish them, or do some other kind of attack to get at the crypto wallet and suck out all of the money. So, moral of the story is, be extremely careful of what you upload to your server, GitHub, Dropbox, or Google Docs. A seemingly benign file can be the difference between staying safe online and, keeping all of your money, and either having your company or maybe your family hacked and losing all of your money. With that, I say thanks again for watching. Don't forget to share and subscribe if you haven't already, and smash the bell if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.